One must give value to their existence by behaving as if one's very existence were a work of art. Every deep thinker is more afraid of being understood than of being misunderstood. What is the truth, but a lie agreed upon? He who would learn to fly one day must first learn to walk and run and climb and dance. One cannot fly into flying. Is life not 1,000 times too short for us to bore ourselves? There is an innocence in admiration. It occurs in one who has not yet realized that they might one day be admired. The author must keep his mouth shut when his work starts to speak. Thoughts are the shadows of our feelings, always darker, emptier and simpler. It is my ambition to say in 10 sentences what others say in a whole book. One must be a sea, to receive a polluted stream without becoming impure. Nothing on earth consumes a man more quickly than the passion of resentment. The irrationality of a thing is no argument against its existence, rather a condition of it. The voice of beauty speaks softly, it creeps only into the most fully awakened souls. He who climbs upon the highest mountains laughs at all tragedies, real or imaginary. The advantage of a bad memory is that one enjoys several times the same good things for the first time. Talking much about oneself can also be a means to conceal oneself. The surest way to corrupt a youth is to instruct him to hold in higher esteem those who think alike than those who think differently. I know of no better life purpose than to perish in attempting the great and the impossible. Become who you are. And those who were seen dancing were thought to be insane by those who could not hear the music. The end of a melody is not its goal, but nonetheless, had the melody not reached its end, it would not have reached its goal either. A parable. There is more wisdom in your body than in your deepest philosophy. Ultimately, it is the desire, not the desired, that we love. The lonely one offers his hand too quickly to whomever he encounters. Perhaps I know best why it is man alone who laughs. He alone suffers so deeply that he had to invent laughter. All I need is a sheet of paper and something to write with, and then I can turn the world upside down. We have art in order not to die of the truth. There are no facts, only interpretations. It is hard enough to remember my opinions, without also remembering my reasons for them. Be careful, lest in casting out your demon you exorcise the best thing in you. The higher we soar, the smaller we appear to those who cannot fly. No one can construct for you the bridge upon which precisely you must cross the stream of life, no one but you yourself alone. Invisible threads are the strongest ties. Faith, not wanting to know what the truth is. One must still have chaos in oneself to be able to give birth to a dancing star. That which is done out of love is always beyond good and evil. There are no beautiful surfaces without a terrible depth. A good writer possesses not only his own spirit but also the spirit of his friends. Without music, life would be a mistake. One ought to hold on to one's heart, for if one lets it go, one soon loses control of the head too. Silence is worse, all truths that are kept silent become poisonous. The snake which cannot cast its skin has to die. As well the minds which are prevented from changing their opinions, they cease to be mind. A thinker sees his own actions as experiments and questions as attempts to find out something. Success and failure are for him answers above all. Beware that, when fighting monsters, you yourself do not become a monster. For when you gaze long into the abyss gazes also into you. I would believe only in a God that knows how to dance. A casual stroll through the lunatic asylum shows that faith does not prove anything. The true man wants two things, danger and play. For that reason he wants woman, as the most dangerous plaything. You must be ready to burn yourself in your own flame. How could you rise anew if you have not first become ashes? All truly great thoughts are conceived while walking. There are two different types of people in the world, those who want to know, and those who want to believe. All things are subject to interpretation. Whichever interpretation prevails at a given time is a function of power and not truth. Ah, women. They make the highs higher and the lows more frequent. Love is a state in which a man sees things most decidedly as they are not. Amor fati, love your fate, which is in fact your life. Blessed are the forgetful, for they get the better even of their blunders. It is not a lack of love, but a lack of friendship that makes unhappy marriages. That which does not kill us makes us stronger. I'm not upset that you lied to me, I'm upset that from now on I can't believe you. Whoever fights monsters should see to it that in the process he does not become a monster. And if you gaze long enough into an abyss, the abyss will gaze back into you. There is always some madness in love. But there is also always some reason in madness. You have your way? I have my way. As for the right way, the correct way, and the only way, it does not exist. Sometimes people don't want to hear the truth because they don't want their illusions destroyed. He who has a why to live for can bear almost anyhow. In heaven, all the interesting people are missing. The man of knowledge must be able not only to love his enemies but also to hate his friends. When we are tired, we are attacked by ideas we conquered long ago. We should consider every day lost on which we have not danced at least once. In individuals, insanity is rare, but in groups, parties, nations and epochs, it is the rule. I am a forest, and a night of dark trees, but he who is not afraid of my darkness, will find banks full of roses under my cypresses. Is man merely a mistake of gods? Or God merely a mistake of man? Man is the cruelest animal. There is not enough love and goodness in the world to permit giving any of it away to imaginary beings. They muddy the water, to make it seem deep. To live is to suffer, to survive is to find some meaning in the suffering. One repays a teacher badly if one always remains nothing but a pupil. Stupidity in a woman is unfeminine. A thought, even a possibility, can shatter and transform us. Hope, in reality, is the worst of all evils, because it prolongs the torments of man. Throw roses into the abyss and say, "Here is my thanks to the monster who didn't succeed in swallowing me alive." Whenever I climb, I am followed by a dog called ego. I assess the power of a will by how much resistance, pain, torture it endures and knows how to turn to its advantage. Remorse? Never yield to remorse, but at once tell yourself, remorse would simply mean adding to the first act of stupidity a second. For art to exist, for any sort of aesthetic activity or perception to exist, a certain physiological precondition is indispensable: intoxication. No shepherd and one herd. Everybody wants the same, everybody is the same, whoever feels different goes voluntarily into a madhouse. There are no eternal facts, as there are no absolute truths. What is the seal of liberation? Not to be ashamed in front of oneself. Man is a rope stretched between the animal and the Superman, a rope over an abyss. One must pay dearly for immortality, one has to die several times while still alive. All great things must first wear terrifying and monstrous masks in order to inscribe themselves on the hearts of humanity. One must not let oneself be misled, they say, judge not. But they send to hell everything that stands in their way. Love is blind. Friendship closes its eyes. I am one thing, my writings are another. I obviously do everything to be hard to understand myself. The earth has a skin and that skin has diseases, one of its diseases is called man. In Christianity neither morality nor religion come into contact with reality at any point. They call you heartless, but you have a heart and I love you for being ashamed to show it. A subject for a great poet would be God's boredom after the seventh day of creation. He who cannot put his thoughts on ice should not enter into the heat of dispute. The text has disappeared under the interpretation. As long as you still experience the stars as something above you, you lack the eye of knowledge.